Hello, my name is Joshua Mugabe. I welcome you to Adaptation to Flight in Birds. The vertebrae of the back fused together and fused to the pelvis gives rigidity to the skeleton during flight. We are talking about the vertebrae of the neck or the back fused together. All this one here is a vertebrae, that one is a neck. Then you go to the back, to the pelvic, and then you go to the tail. All that one is fused together and is fused with the pelvic or the pelvis. That one gives it the rigidity which is used during flight. Deep keel to sternum allows attachment of powerful flight muscles. We have the keel. This is our keel here, or that one to the back, and it is attached to the sternum. The sternum is this region here. So the keel which is deep and the sternum on which it is attached, that one allows the attachment of the powerful flight muscle. So if you look at all of this area here, which we are calling the keel, and the sternum here, where our ribs are attached, all that one is for muscle attachment. And those muscles are the flight muscles. Hollow bones reduce weight. Hollow bones reduce weight. All these bones that we see of the bird, the femur, the tibia, the foot, the humerus, ulna and radius, all those bones are hollow, meaning that inside them there is nothing but space. That one makes them to be light bones, and that one leads to the reduction in the weight of the bird. The wings are not an adaptation to flight. They are essential for flight. So when we look at our wing here, we can see the different parts that make up the wing. Let's first start by looking at the bones. We have this bone here. This one is the humerus. It attaches itself on the clavicle and the sternum, scapula. The humerus forms a ball joint here, where it attaches itself to the scapula, and it forms a hinge joint here where it attaches itself on the ulna outside, the radius outside, and the ulna inside. Then this side we have the carpals and metacarpals. Those are the ones that form the forelimb. And then we have the feathers. We have the feathers on the extreme end. These ones here. Those ones we call them the primary flight feather. And we have those feathers that are inside, near the body. Those ones we refer to them as the secondary flight feathers. Flapping flight, that is 1, 2, and 3. Downstroke. Wings are pulled down. Air resistance gives the uplift. So during flapping, 1, 2, and 3, the wings are moving downwards. And that one is what we call the downstroke. Now, during the downstroke, there is resistance provided by the wings to the air moving upwards. That resistance, which is created by the wings, providing the resistance to the air, is going to cause the bird to move upwards, which we call the uplift. Why? Because the resistance of air applying on the wings is going to force the bird to move upwards. So during flapping, the wings are moving downwards and the wings are exerting resistance to the air. So the air will also exert a certain resistance to the wings, which is going to cause the bird to move up. Flapping flight for upstroke. Flexed wrist reduce air resistance. Now we are looking at 4. Flapping 4 is called an upstroke. Now the wings are moving up. But when the wings are moving up, they don't move in a straight form. They move in a bent form. You see them when they are going back, they are bent. Why? So that the air which is coming from up can easily flow in that direction. And the other side, it can easily flow in that direction. And because of that, there is reduced air resistance. So the bird will not be forced to go downwards because the wings are going up, because of the less resistance which is applied by the air on the wings. Front view of the skeleton and wing muscles to explain flapping flight. So let us look here, and we see the parts that we have here. We have already talked about the humerus. We have talked about the radius and the ulna. And this one is the coracoid bone attaching itself on the sternum, which sternum is attached to the keel, the deep keel. Now we want to look at the muscles. We have sets of muscles. We have the set of muscle here, down. You can see that it is very thick coming from the keel, and it goes on reducing, going and attaching itself at the humerus. That muscle is what we call pectoralis major or pector muscle, or sometimes we call it a depressor muscle. Then we have another muscle here which comes and mainly attaches itself on the sternum, but you can see it is a bit smaller than the major pectoral muscle. And for it, when it comes, it will pass up the coracoid, and then it will come and attach itself on the top of the humerus using the tendon. So this one is what we call the minor pectoral muscle or pectoralis minor. Sometimes it is called the raises the wing, raiser muscle. So we have here, first part, major pectoralis muscle contracts, and when it contracts, it is pulling, going downwards. So when it pulls, it is going to pull the humerus, which humerus is going also to move downwards because it is contracting. That is the first part. And the second part, the wing is going to be pulled down. As we have seen that the pectoralis major is contracting, it is pulling the humerus. When it pulls the humerus is going to cause the wing to move down. And as the wing is moving down, that wing is now going to find air resistance, because there is air which is coming from down and it is finding the wings going down and air is going up. This air is going to provide resistance to the wing, and when that air provides resistance to the wing, it is going to cause an upthrust. that force which is going to push the body of the bird to move upwards. So now here we go to the fourth part, which is the upthrust, transmitted from the wing to the coracoid bone. So that force, upthrust, is moved from the wing force or the wing bones or the feathers. It will be transmitted to the collar bone. When it is transmitted to the collar bone here, now it is going to cause the upthrust to move upwards. So the bird will move upwards. And because of those two, upthrust from this side and upthrust from this side, they are going to cause the bird to move upward. That is now the fifth part, which is the whole body is going to move upward, or the whole body is going to be lifted. One, major pectoral muscle is going to contract. We have seen this is the major pectoral muscle is contracting, and when it is contracting, it is pulling the muscles to come down. And when those muscles are coming down, they are going to cause the wing to be pulled downwards. The wing will be pulled downwards. We have already seen this one. The wing is now being pulled downwards. What we are seeing, what is happening to the bird here. The wing is being pulled downwards. Why? Because the pectoralis major is contracting. Air resistance is going to give an upthrust on the wing. So when the wings are moving down, the air is moving up. And when the air is moving up and it is meeting the wing which is moving down, air is going to provide resistance to the wing. And this resistance is going to cause what we call an upthrust. So you can see here our bird, the wings are going down. And as the wings are going down, there is air which is coming from down. It meets the wings. And when it meets the wings, it is going to provide resistance, which is going to provide an upthrust. Upthrust transmitted from the wing to the coracoid. So the wings are the ones that are receiving the resistance. And the coracoid bone is the one which is going to receive the upthrust. Because all the force which is coming from the ulna, the radius, and the humerus is going to be transmitted to the coracoid bone. When it is transmitted to the coracoid bone, it is going to cause an upthrust, which is going to move the body upwards. The flight feathers overlap in a way that lets air pass between them during upstroke. so reducing the air resistance. So during the upstroke, the wings are bent and they are moving upwards. Why they are bent? They are bent is to reduce the air resistance, because as the air comes, it can flow in a different direction. Now, another thing which is happening is that now this air which is coming from up, it will provide resistance to the wings. So to prevent that incidence, the wings are going to open. They will open and allow that air to pass through the wings, and it goes downwards. So the air can pass through the wings which are opened, and then it can go downwards. So the air which is passing through the wings, the feathers which are open, is going now to go through the feathers or the wing without providing much resistance. So if you look at our hairs here during the upstroke, the wings are moving upwards and the air is coming downwards. But when the air comes downwards, we expect that it is going to provide resistance. But because now the wings or the feathers are open, now air will pass through the open gaps. It will pass through the open gaps and it will provide less resistance. Then the wings now will go upwards until when they reach upwards, and then they are spread horizontally. During the downstroke, the gap is closed, so offering maximum air resistance and giving a lift. So here we are seeing that our bird is having a downstroke and the wings are spread straight as they are going down. Now when they are going down, they are meeting air resistance, air which is moving upwards. Now what is going to happen to the feathers? All the feathers are going to close. They will close and they will not allow the air to pass through them. So this air which is coming down will provide a higher resistance to the flow of the wings, and that one is going to cause the bird now to get a lift moving upward because of the resistance which is coming from the air. Gliding flight. The wings are outstretched. Lift is provided either by up currents of air or thermals, or by slowly losing height. So in gliding, what happens is that the bird just stretches its wings, and when it stretches its wings and we have currents, air currents moving from down going upwards, these air currents or the thermals, they are going to provide resistance to the bird, and when they provide resistance to the wings, now this one is going to provide an upthrust to the wings, which will be transmitted to the coracoid bone, and then now we shall get an upthrust. When we get the upthrust, we are going to end up getting a lift of the whole body of the bird by just gliding and using the air currents. The whole body is going to be lifted. Now this one we now already know because of the resistance which is coming from the air. It is going to cause the bird to receive an upthrust, which is going to make the bird to be lifted upwards. Hello, my friends. Thank you very much for participating in adaptation to flight in birds. Please do like, share, and subscribe.